y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariana, but you can call me Ari. And today I have a bit of a library haul for y'all. And I'm also gonna share with you what I'm currently reading. A couple things I want to mention. I will be uploading now on Sundays and Wednesdays. I think it just works better that way, and I'm seeing that more people are able to engage on Wednesdays. So I think that we're gonna stick to Sundays and Wednesdays from now on. And I have everything set up with my bookshelves. I realized in the last video I didn't show y'all what actually ended up becoming of this space because it took so long to just do one shelf and film that video that I didn't show y'all what I ended up doing. So real quick, I'll just hold up my camera. It's gonna be blurry because of the way I'm filming today. But you'll get the idea. I have a little shelf here. I just put some books there just because I wanted to fill that space and have some stuff there so it isn't so empty. And then the rest of my books are here, and then I hung up some hanging fairy lights, so I hope they're not too distracting, but I think it just kind of, the space looks a little bit more complete and a lot better than it did when I first started. So eventually I'll add some things on my wall. I want to put my diploma on my wall at some point soon, so I need to get a frame for that. But right now I think this is a nice area to be filming in. I am standing, so I don't mind that. It does give me freedom to feel a little bit more fluid and a little bit more relaxed. So yeah. That's it. That's all I wanted to start with. Let's just get into these books. So the first book we're going to talk about is called Miss Pearly's Girls by Reshonda Tate Billingsley. I'm really enjoying this book. I am about 50% of the way through this book. She has a great way of writing dialogue for characters that is just really quick, really witty, never cringy, and always on it. So this is a story about four sisters who are estranged. They haven't talked to each other in months, some of them in years. And Miss Pearly is their mother, and Miss Pearly ends up falling ill, and she essentially, her illness draws all of the sisters back to their hometown in a little town in Arkansas, and all four sisters come to visit Miss Pearly at the same time together. And that brings a lot of family drama and chaos because the four sisters, like I said, have not talked to each other in some of them a very, very long time, some of them years. And so there's a lot of animosity, there's a lot of unresolved conflict that comes up, there's a lot of childhood trauma that comes up. And they, at the request of Miss Pearly, she would like the girls to come together and reconcile their drama and be honest and open with each other about who they are today. So it's going really well. I'm eating this up. I started this probably a day ago and I'm already halfway through. It moves pretty quickly because it is mostly dialogue. It's so heartfelt and it's a really good read, so I recommend this for sure. Now we're getting into all of the library books that I just picked up this weekend. We've got a total of 5 books. I don't know what my intentions are with picking these up. Do I think I'm gonna read all of these by the end of January? Absolutely not. I think I could get to 3 of them if I am diligent. So we'll see how that goes. But let's first talk about Tracy Brown's Hold You Down. Now, this is a story of 2 sisters who grew up with an absentee mother. The sisters are very close. They live in New York City, and as they grow up, they each end up having a child. They each have a boy, and their boys are very close. They are more like brothers instead, or they're more like brothers instead of cousins. And we have Mercy and Lennox, the 2 sisters. Mercy is more of a career-driven, very focused on her path kind of girl. She works as a hospital administrator, and at night and on the weekends, she spends time practicing her passion of cooking because she has a dream to open her own restaurant. Then we have the sister Lennox. She is a bit more of a free spirit. She goes by the own beat of her drum. She does her own thing, and she is a bit more eccentric in that way. And so Lennox ends up making a choice, going down a particular path that she believes will bring her family that has been struggling in New York more success. And this path actually ultimately brings a lot of change and transformation that is not exactly great for the children or for herself. And she gets wrapped up in chaos and drama and mess, and that's all I know. So I'm excited for this, and I'm ready to sink my teeth into something that's a little less. This is probably going to be more of a challenging read, but it's not heavy. A lot of the books I gravitate to are very heavy, long, speculative, and I think this is going to be nice to just follow a story of two sisters trying to figure it out, with one sister kind of going haywire and, making the whole thing, their whole life, kind of chaotic. So that should be a really fun read. And then we have something that actually surprised me, and it is called Nothing Burns as Bright as You by Ashley Woodfolk. This is a YA contemporary romance. It is a queer romance of two best friends who start out as best friends and then manifest into something more romantic. So it is a romance, and it is 100% written in verse. So it is written very poetic, and there's going to be a lot of metaphors, a lot of symbolism, and it's going to capture the challenges and the complexities of female friendships and relationships and queer love and romance. And I think I've mentioned that I don't naturally gravitate to romance. And when I say that, I really mean that I don't gravitate to romance for romance's sake. I don't look for romance in a book, but when I am challenged by a book's way of writing, like this is going to be verse, this is like something that's like, okay, this is going to have a different feel to me than, boy meets girl, boy gets girl, happily ever after. This is going to have some complexity and some dimension and shape. I might fly through this because it is written verse, but that's something that I really want to be conscious of, especially when reading poetry books. It's easy to fly through poetry because it's short, but there's so much to unpack and there's so much to understand when it comes to the symbolism and metaphors that poetry can go through, and the changes and the evolution in poetry, that I really want to take my time with it and enjoy it for what it is. So I am excited, and it's a YA, so that's really different for me as well. This is the year of getting out of our comfort zones. Okay. All right, so the next one that I'm excited about is right up my alley. This is a thriller. This is called Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier, and this is sounding so delicious. This is a story of a woman named Paris, I believe. Yeah. It's a woman named Paris who is arrested because she is found holding a straight razor standing over her dead husband, who is bathed in his blood in the bathtub. And she knows she's going to get arrested for murder. That isn't her major concern. Her biggest concern is that this is gaining a lot of media attention. And because of that, she is concerned for her past coming back to haunt her and to take her down. And not only that, someone from her past who was sentenced and convicted for murder is now being released from prison right around the same time all of this media attention is coming her way. So we have Ruby Reyes. She is someone who knows a lot about who Paris was before who Paris is now. She's having to confront her past in order to escape it. So I'm excited. I love that when the synopsis just gives it to me. It says, covered in blood, holding a straight razor, her celebrity husband dead in the bathtub behind her. Like, I'm sold. I only read that one line and I was like, that's it for me. Game over. I'm picking this up. I can't. Put it on hold. Give it to me. Give it to me. I think this is going to be really, really good. This next one I am nervous about. Didn't realize how big it was going to be. And the story is popping. It is thick. It is chock full of good themes and strong elements. This is the Reformatory by Tananarive Due. This one I'm nervous about. I've heard and read and saw good things from it last year, and I decided to go ahead and put it on hold at my library, and I picked it up, and I didn't realize it was almost 600 pages. So I really would like to finish this in January. But anyway, the point is, let me tell you a little bit about it if you're not already aware. I'm a little late to the party, so you might already be hip, but here it is. So we are in Gracetown, Florida, June of 1950. And we are following a young boy who is sentenced to this reform school because he kicked a landowner, one of the most prominent, the largest landowners in Florida. He kicked his son in order to defend or protect his older sister, Gloria. Yes, which is my grandmother's name. So glorious, such a glorious name. So he kicks this landowner's son in protecting his sister, and then is sentenced to this reform school for 6 months. But what makes this interesting is that Robbie has, am I saying his name right? Yes, it is Robbie. That Robbie has the ability to see and I believe communicate with ghosts. But after having been sent to this reform school, he is now privy to a lot of the dark history of this reform school. Kids are missing. Kids like him are obviously sentenced to this life for no good reason. And these ghosts are able to pretty much communicate that worse things are to come and that they need to get out now. So that's the Reformatory. I don't know much else about it. I'm sure it's going to take me through it. So yeah, I can't wait to pick this up. I know this is gonna take some time. This next one I am so excited about because it feels so very wholesome, and it's funny because my intention with doing this library haul and picking up these books is I was searching for something a little bit lighthearted, and I look back and look at all the books that I picked up, and none of these things are lighthearted at all. There is some challenging elements to every book I pick up. So true to my fashion, I enjoy dark, heavy, challenging, complex books and themes. But this one seems like it might be a little softer around the edges, and that is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This one is, first of all, the cover attracted me immediately. I was like, this is gorgeous, and there's themes of nature and animals in it. So we are following a woman named Tova. Her husband has died, and she has also lost, or her son has disappeared, has no idea what happened to him, where he is, or what's going on. He's disappeared. So the people in her life are no longer around her, and she works the night shift at this aquarium. Eventually, she becomes pretty good friends with this octopus named Marcellus, and Marcellus is, of course, captivated. He's locked behind a glass wall, and he is not nearly as friendly to his captors as he is with Tova. They develop a connection that leads to her finding out more information about what happened to her son that night and where he is or what's going on with him. And so between, her relationship with him and her conversations with him, she's able to learn about what happened to her son. I am not spoiling this for anyone. I haven't read anything. I know nothing about this book, but my prediction is that something's gonna happen to the octopus where he has to be let go or put down, or he has to move to another location or something, and she doesn't have a lot of time to figure out what happened to her son before this happens. So she has to get all the information she can from this lovely Marcellus here so that she can have some closure or maybe find her son. So this is probably the lightest book I have. It still has themes of death and animal captivity and missing person like themes. So this is a very, very moody library haul. That's what we're gonna call this. We're gonna call this something like our moody TBR library haul, because like I said, I went to the library with every intention of picking up books that were lighthearted, and I even went through, like, I spent like 2 hours researching books that were light, but that weren't romance. I kept finding books that were like lighthearted adult books, but like they were romance related. So maybe I need to change my perspective a little bit and look at some young adult books, because a lot of the adult books are very heavy. If you have any suggestions for books that aren't like super heavy on the romance, I don't mind romantic aspects, but something that isn't so like drilling the romance into my soul, I would really appreciate it if you leave some suggestions for some lighthearted reads down below. Otherwise, yeah, that's the goal. I also have, these are all the books that I showed y'all in my haul video a couple of videos ago that I haven't touched or read either. And so we have those to get through as well. But because these are library books, I'm going to prioritize these first because they do have a certain, of course, due date. Obviously, I can extend that due date and renew them, but I do have some books and some focuses I want to have in the month of February. So if I don't get through all these books now, they will go back to the library and we'll start over and just keep them on my TBR and then recheck them out later. There's no reason why this should be very stressful. It's reading is fun, and I'm just here to have a good time. So enough of that, enough rambling. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate y'all being here. Please do subscribe, hit that like button. Not only does it make my heart so very happy, but it also shows the algorithm that I'm doing something right and will recommend me to more like-minded people like yourself. So again, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.